We'll start off, first and foremost, with Jerome D'Ambrosio, Ed. Now, I think this one shocked everybody. We've all thought maybe Jerome might be stepping away from Formula E. He could race in other series. But like how Venturi said with Felipe Massa on that final day that he'd retired, Jerome D'Ambrosio also after Berlin decided to retire, but obviously Felipe Massa's made that decision beforehand, whereas Jerome D'Ambrosio's probably had a few days of a week or two to think about it, and then decided, you know what, I am retiring from Formula E, and that may be, or there was rumours of that, and that helped that Alexander Sims seat. Maybe it would have been Alexander Sims and Jerome D'Ambrosio, but Jerome D'Ambrosio decided to walk away. So before we go on to what Jerome D'Ambrosio has decided to do next, what do you make of his retirement call? Do you think he's only 34 years of age? Do you think he could have done a job somewhere else in the Formula E grid?
I think in terms of continuing as a driver, Jerome had kind of an image problem that he was always seen as a bit of a dark horse, and very rarely, it was only really at the start of season 5 of Mahindra when he had a really good start to the season where he was seen as sort of a serious championship kind of threat. Otherwise he was always, especially when he was driving for Dragon, there was always that sense that D'Ambrosio might have a few good races, but he was never really going to seriously challenge for the title. And so I think that's a little harsh on Jerome, because I think he had a lot of good qualities as a Formula E driver. And whilst it's a shame for his career to end and him not quite get the success that I think he would have hoped to have, he still won quite I think 3 races in the air, or was it 2 races? Yeah. And to be honest, I can see why he's gone for the role with Venturi. I can see why Susie Wolff would want someone who knows the business, who's been a driver for a long time and knows how to manage drivers, managing a bit more on the day-to-day side. As in terms of who's going to be the public face of the team, I suspect it might still be Susie, but it'll be interesting to see what role Jerome gets on that front as well. And I think it could be a great signing for Venturi and help push the team back towards the front after a difficult season.
Yeah, so talking about that role that Ed is mentioning there, so he's become the deputy team principal. Now, there was a lot of shock, Ed, about D'Ambrosio becoming the deputy team principal of Venturi. A lot of people thought, I wouldn't have expected, D'Ambrosio to go down that route. Now, when I'm thinking about D'Ambrosio, now that I've had time and I've had a day and a bit to sort of, think about that news and let that sink in, I don't think that actually surprises me that D'Ambrosio had decided to hang up his helmet and go more into this management and stay in racing, because he's a very, and I think a lot of people know this, but I think he's underrated in this part. He's a very intelligent man. He is very intelligent, and he's very down to earth. He understands racing. He understands the politics and the things that go around, and he sort of knows that. So actually, thinking about it, for me personally, I think it was a good move for D'Ambrosio to go into, and I think he'll relish it. And I think, a team principal, a team manager type of role in the future could easily be on D'Ambrosio's path. What do you think?
Yeah, and perhaps he may not necessarily stay with Venturi forever. I think Dilbagh Gill was saying, look, Jerome will always be part of the Mahindra family because he won a race for us, and he was, a driver we really enjoyed having worked with us, who provided more than just results. He did a lot of stuff, on the technical side with us. Like you say, he was very intelligent, and I think, like you said, Venturi are really going to benefit from that, and it'd be interesting to see how he manages Mortara and Norman Nato, especially Nato in his rookie season as well, in season 7.